Hello, welcome to my first ever come thrifting with me video. I went thrifting yesterday actually, so I'm just going to voice over the things that I saw yesterday, and I also wanted to give some little tips and tricks on things that I look out for, how I decide if I'm going to actually buy something or not, and some little specific tips or uses for certain items. So all of the thrift stores I went to yesterday are all in a elderly demographic area. So that would be my first tip. You can literally go on Google and Google what suburbs near you or in your city have an elderly demographic. I like to go to thrift stores that are in the outer suburbs or the middle suburbs and kind of middle to upper class. Whenever I first enter a thrift store, the first thing I do is just allow my eye to scan over and look out for forms or colors or materials that seem interesting to me. I used to pick up so many items and really consider every single thing and detail about it. I really think intuition is the best key for making the best decisions. If you find yourself overanalyzing something or trying to convince yourself about something, it's generally not probably the thing for you. It can be really tempting to want to buy something just because you think that you won't see that thing again. But the more you go thrifting, the more you start to realize that there are certain items which are actually not that uncommon. And with these things, you can afford to be really picky. Ceramics is a great example. There are so many ceramics at the thrift stores. I find if they're not the perfect color or size or texture that I like, then it's a no for me. They could be the right color and the right size, but they're not the right texture. So if it doesn't tick all the boxes, it's a no. This candle, for example, I really love the size, I love the form, I liked the glaze, but something about the color was a little bit off. On the other hand, this pot was really different from anything I'd seen before, and I loved everything about it. I love these little lines, I love the glaze, I loved the size. Another great example is I've been looking for a fish tray lately. I really love them, but I keep seeing glass ones and I don't want a glass one, so I'm not gonna just buy a glass one because it's a fish. I did see this one though, and I thought this was really, really cool. I love the three-tone metal. It was a little bit expensive though. I always look out for quality materials like wood, metal, or ceramic, and also for handmade things. But again, you will realize that you do see quite a lot of these things at the thrift stores, and just because it's wood and it's handmade, that doesn't mean it's a nice type of wood or it's handmade in a nice way. When I first saw this, I was like, oh, that's a really cool shape and I like the colors, but close up, it just wasn't it. It looked a bit crappily made. And I was quite intrigued by these horses, but their faces looked a bit bizarre. I really love this two-piece set. It was Australian, great quality, but not for $40. There was something about this artwork as well. It was really soft and wispy and organic. I really love this vintage crock pot, but I just couldn't really think of another use for it, and I already have like 3 of these. I love this little vase with this simple little line across the top. I didn't really like the handle though, so it wasn't a 10 out of 10 for me. I love these little salt dishes. This one particularly I didn't like, but I do love looking for these. This was a little koala bear. I thought it was cute. I also thought that this mug was quite funny. This mug was interesting. It was kind of like an alabaster. Not really my style, but just fun to find. I always keep my eye out for interesting wooden things that could be DIY'd into something else. These plates are really sweet with a little blue line. Again, I prefer plates that have like a bit more of a speckle or patina to them. I always keep my eye out for frames as well. I look individually for the artwork and the matting and the frame. So this one, for example, I didn't really like the artwork, but I really loved the matting. I was really, really drawn to this tapestry as well. I don't normally really like these tapestries so much, but there was something about the colors and the forms in this one. I felt like it almost could just be like a cool abstract piece. I flipped it on its side to see if that would make it look even more abstract. I was seriously considering buying this, but in the end I decided not to. I thought this piece would be really cute for like a patio makeover or something. These little thermometers were really cute. I actually don't know if they were thermometers though. That's why I just kind of let them be. This tulip thing was absolutely crazy. I just needed to take a moment to appreciate its weirdness. And this piece was very similar to the one that I had just seen for $4. This one was $15 though, so it really had me regretting not buying the first one. This teapot was a really cute form. I love the silver. I just have too many teapots at the moment. And this vessel is a great example of just being inspired. I love this midnight blue with this umber for like a painting or something. I just wasn't fully in love with the form and actually the fact that it was a vase. I couldn't work out if this looked a bit tacky or not. I didn't like the whitewash under the blue, but I did like the texture of the wash itself, and I really liked the shape. This little plate was really pretty. The handles were really sweet, just not really my style though. These little dishes can be used as drawer organizers. I see stuff like this all the time, and it means you wouldn't have to buy like those little plastic ones from the container store. This big dish was really interesting as well. I just couldn't really think of a use for something so big, and the more I stared at it, the more it started to remind me of like a spider web. These dishes were really cute as well. They had like the smaller ones and the tea set as well. I'm just a little bit confused right now about what I actually want in dinnerware, so I'm sort of not making any decisions on that again until something really beautiful pops up where I'm just like, yes, this is my style. Again, you don't need to think too much about it. Your heart will tell you. This little shoebox was quite interesting as well. I'm not sure what it was, but it'd be really cute in like an entryway or something to put your shoes on. I really liked the little wooden details as well. When I first saw this, I was really unsure if this was an original vintage. The more I looked at it, I still couldn't figure it out if it was vintage or a remodel. I flipped it over to look at the joinery and the screws. So this is always a way that you can check. And at this point I knew that it was. It was so pretty and the wood finish was so nice. Baskets are something that you can always find at thrift stores, so you can afford to be very picky and wait till you find ones like this which look authentically vintage and really quality made and kind of a bit more ornate than a lot of the ones you see these days. I always love to check out the Manchester and linen section. There's so many cute, unique things you can find which can be repurposed into other things. I always like to look out for pure cottons or linens or any type of pattern which is actually woven into the fabric as opposed to just a pattern that is just printed onto a fabric. I always keep my eye out for these woolen blankets thrifting. They're so warm. This one was a really pretty color. It's looking a bit more orange on camera. I always get all of my pillow inserts from thrift stores as well, so you can try and find one that looks clean and new. This type of polyester stuffing is basically plastic as well, so that's why I like to buy it secondhand. I'm always keeping my eye out for cute vintage aprons. I think they can be really sweet as a decor item in a kitchen and obviously for using as well. And I'm not against using secondhand towels or secondhand sheets. I personally think it's fine. This one was a kind of an interesting piece for someone who is a lot more into saturated colors than me. And this crochet piece was almost cute. I love little crochet pieces like this that are a little bit abstract. Just the colors weren't completely right for me. If I were into sewing at the moment, I would be looking at sewing patterns. I get all of my linen and cotton that I naturally dye from thrift stores as well. I always look usually in the pillow or the tablecloth section. This blanket was really sweet for like a picnic blanket. It wasn't quite what I would look for in a inside blanket, but I am on the hunt for tartan blankets like this. Of course, I always look at the fabric offcuts. I'm looking for things with interesting weaves or patterns or textures to them. I like things that look a little bit shiny sometimes, but I also like plain cottons and linens, especially things with like a pretty little gingham weave through them. I really liked these colors in this one, but it just wasn't quite enough fabric. I always keep my eye out for cotton. Cotton can be quite expensive new, and there's loads of it at thrift stores. I'm always looking at curtain related things at thrift stores. Again, there's loads of it and it can be quite expensive to buy new. I love looking at vintage books for the illustrations inside, especially if they are woodblock printings or some other type of printing and they're just in black and white. They can make really cute artworks because they can actually just look like an authentic print as opposed to buying a print of a painting which clearly looks like a print of a painting. This is an interesting title. Always look at boxes, and again, this is one where I am really picky because I know that there's always loads of boxes. I have been really obsessed with men's shirts recently. I think they're always just really nice quality. They're cotton or linen, which are great for natural dyeing. And I love all the little different textures, the little checks or stripes. I've just had my mind really exploding recently on all the different things that I could do with these. I could cut them up and quilt them into other clothes or just turn them into like cute little summer tops or pillows, home decor related things. If you're looking for silk for natural dyeing, look for wedding dresses at the thrift store. This bedding valance was super interesting. I just really couldn't think of a practical use for this though, so I passed. I really love this frame as well. I love these thick chunky frames. I end up buying this for my baby's drawers or for the nappy as a nappy caddy. I was actually meant to come back and buy this. It was only $6 and I really loved it. I actually completely forgot to get this. The next thrift store had all $2 clothes, so that's another thing. Keep your eye out for sales, ask the staff, ask if there are concession days, student days. I really like this crochet bag, but it didn't seem very practical in terms of things falling out of it. And I love this little sweet cardigan for my baby, but it would be a really long time before it fits in there, so I decided to pass. This sheet was pretty cool. It was actually a lot more red on camera. I'm always keeping my eye out for striped linens. And there was something about this cap that was very cute, but a little bit tacky. I'm always keeping my eye out for cute walking jackets. I just find them really practical. This one I liked because it had a hood, and I don't have any ones with hoods yet. I really like this quilted vest, but the color was just a little bit too aqua for me. If it had been a bit more teal, I probably would have liked this. This was a great hiking jacket. It was really lightweight and it had this zip up hood inside. I really liked this percolator. The handle was really cool and the little patterns on the side. It didn't actually have the filter, so I decided to pass on this. This spice rack was pretty cool if that was your style. It wasn't really mine. I always look out for interesting cutlery and utensils at the thrift store. I always look out for things that are stainless steel or things that have like an interesting shape or an interesting handle. I used to be obsessed with this brocade when my style was a bit different when I was younger. I still really like to look at it, and I think that's a nice thing about thrifting. You can sometimes just get inspired or like nostalgic. It doesn't always have to be about you buying things. When I look at glassware, I always just scan over and look out for color. I love colored glassware. These were really cute. I really liked these brown ones as well. And this stuff is so cheap at thrift stores. Okay, that was a really good thrifting trip. I didn't get too much. I was quite well behaved. Sorry, well restrained, but I got good things. The things I got were really good. So let me show you. I got these 2 little glasses for $1 each. I've seen ones like this before, but I still really like them. And then I got a set of 4 of these. I think they're really pretty. I really love the brown glass and the shape. I've kind of decided that I like to have like mixed match plates and bowls, but when it comes to glasses, I do kind of like a set. As in, like, I love the look of like a stack of mixed match nice pottery bowls and like allowing those to be all unique one-off pieces. But when you have like also mixed match glasses, I feel like it gets a bit chaotic maybe. And then I got this fabric. I thought it'd be really pretty to dye this and maybe turn it into like a summery top, or maybe, I don't know if it's enough for a dress. Maybe it could be if I had like a different fabric for the bodice, or I made one of those dresses that have like the different layers in the skirt. But yeah, I just think that'd be really pretty if I naturally dyed it like a blue or a tealy kind of color. It's just pure cotton. And then I did get the walking jacket. I don't know if you call that a walking jacket, just like a simple jacket that's like a little bit waterproof. I really liked the little pockets on it, and I really liked that it had a hood, because all of my other walking jackets don't have hoods. That was $2. And then I got a really cool set of vintage denim jeans, like not pure, what am I trying to say? Original, what am I trying to say? Authentic vintage. Vintage? Why did that sound weird just then? I don't know, I have no idea what like my size is anymore. I guess we'll find out when I normalize after the baby, but very cool, very happy. Also $2. And then I got a bouncy ball as a massager. And then this really stole my heart. I just thought this was beautiful. I really love the glaze. I really love the little riveted lines on there. I really love any type of pottery that looks a little bit Japanesey kind of. I feel like I'm collecting quite a few of these like pottery vessels, but this one was smaller, so that's okay. It's different than the other ones. Oh, I forgot to say that, yeah, this one was only $5. That was also $5. And then I got this little basket. I thought this would be really great for my diaper caddy in the living room. I'm gonna have 2 diaper caddies, like one in the bedroom and one in the living room. And I just wanted something for the living room that can like hide everything. And it's got like a little handle, so you can have like one hand in the baby shit, and then the other one you could just be like, boop. Oops, I didn't mean to throw that. Sorry, that looked a bit reckless. And then I also got the stool. That was my favorite purchase of the day. It was only $10. I'm so happy with it. I have no idea where it's gonna go. But it was just like one of those things, like I have to have that. It's just beautiful. I really love the tone of the wood. I might put it by the recliner to like use as a footrest, but I also think it would look really cool like pushed up against a wall, like next to another piece of furniture as like a little vignette kind of thing. So yeah, that was everything I got today. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me and that you got some sort of value out of what I had to share about thrifting. I always feel, I don't know, it feels weird like pretending that you know more about thrifting than other people. I think thrifting is just like, I don't know if you can be like a master at it. It's just knowing where to go, going a lot, and yeah, knowing a couple of little tips and tricks. So yeah, I will do more of these videos, I think. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Bye.